Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Moletrap here. Coming at you with game number 4. Game number 4 of Group C of the 2004 Ever OSL. And I always specify 2004 partly to just give context because we want to remember that this is some old school games that we're watching. And so the metas are going to be very different. And let me make sure I get the colors right here. So purple is going to be GoRush in the bottom left. Before I start rambling about anything, any context or anything like that, I want to make sure I get the colors because I don't know these guys' names. Usually if it's someone whose Korean name I know, I can read the Korean stuff at the top and figure it out. But so we're going to have Jeju is the top right green zerg. So we got nice distinct colors for this zerg versus zerg. Very nice. And a few more pixels than we had in the previous games, previous sets as well. So, but yeah, what I was going to say is that Ever, this is the first OSL that they sponsored, I think. No, actually, I think they might have even sponsored a 2003 OSL. But Ever has sponsored like 4 different OSLs in different years. 2007, 2009. They also, maybe 2008, I actually don't remember because they did so many of them. So you kind of have to specify when it was for a little bit of context there. So, this is kind of do or die for both players. Because basically both these players are down 0-1 at this point. So whoever loses is going to be down 0-2. And then they kind of have to depend on some kind of a crazy situation where like, I guess Sync would have to go 3-0. And then Uv would have to lose to whoever he's playing after this to get like a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 tie or something like that. It's unlikely is the point. It's unlikely that that you lose this game and you're going to get out of the group. You know, GoRush did manage to have that situation in Group A where he was tied for a 1-2 situation, managed to win the tiebreakers and get out of it. But it's very unlikely. So this is do or die for both players. And we do have hatchery going down in base for GoRush, and then the spawning pool after, and a nice little interesting defensive position where he can actually maybe put a sunken colony kind of behind that spawning pool and have it be defending his whole mineral line and have a little bit of defense so that zerglings can't surround it. So that might be what he's thinking here by getting a macro hatch, and it's going to be protected by whatever units he makes. We got a spawning pool first though for excuse me, for Jeju. So, but here's the thing. This is a pretty big map, and they are cross positions. So it is probably a disadvantage to go for that pool first for Jeju because and it looks like he's actually going to take an extra expansion at that, like, I don't know if you call it a natural. It's just like the choke. There's just some extra bonus minerals at the choke of this map, basically, but it's not even really an expansion exactly. Doesn't have any gas, only has a few mineral patches. So the fact that he is so far away at cross positions means that by the time these zerglings run all the way across the map, that extra distance is going to buy the exact amount of time that GoRush needs to get the exact same amount of units up, and that's exactly what he's doing. So GoRush is going to end up with a better economy and basically tactically even units. Obviously, GoRush can't attack right now because he would have to run all the way across the map, but he can soon because he's going to be able to make double the units basically for a little while. He's got extra economy, and oh, he actually lets the zerglings get by, and it looks like the speed upgrade is kicking in here, so he's going to go straight for the drones. He's going to have to micro against these zerglings very well. He has superior zergling count, but so, yeah, so Jeju is not going to be able to do any damage. He hasn't done any damage yet. He forced a scare on those drones, so they did have to fall back. But right now, GoRush has a period of time where he's producing 2 hatcheries worth of zerglings, and Jeju is only producing 1 hatchery worth of zerglings. And since if we want to review the math that we learned from the last series that I casted, 2 is better than 1. 2 is more than 1, by the way. And so now we have a zergling battle. There's just so many zerglings. He's trying to corner the zerglings if he can, and if he can kill off those zerglings, it'll be huge. He gets in, he dives in, he takes out 1 drone, he tries to escape. He's doing a really good job of running around, but slowly and steadily GoRush is whittling down that zergling force. Now in the meantime, what has Jeju been doing? In fact, I feel like this is probably him buying time. He's threatening GoRush to make sure GoRush can't counterattack while he builds up his own economy to try and counteract that advantage. And we did see just a moment there of that of his base, but I don't know how much drones he's gotten or if he's been going for the zerglings. But there's now a ton of zerglings going across the map, and this is the crucial timing where he is going to have a lot more Zerglings in play. But is Jeju, did he delay long enough? It looks like no, he didn't, because GoRush has more Zerglings. He's got a better concave as well, but at least Jeju does have the reinforcements coming in for both of his hatcheries. It looks like it's about even. He could fight with drones as well, theoretically. Jeju bringing a couple more Zerglings back. It's such a close battle. They have about even Zerglings, but now GoRush has forced him away from his drones, so he's going to be able to get some drone kills as well. And Jeju, with the inferior economy, cannot afford to lose drones right now, and it's just turning into a Zergling versus Zergling battle, though. He's forced to fight with some drones in order to have an advantage, though, because GoRush just has a little bit more production, and it looks like he is slowly rallying his Zerglings forward to overpower him. Jeju is on the verge of losing this game right now because he's out of Zerglings. He's starting to lose his drones, and that is going to be it, I think. The Spire finishes. Maybe he can buy enough time to get a couple Mutalisks out to deal with these Zerglings, but in that amount of time, it looks like GoRush can just do too much damage. It's going to be irreparable damage for either his economy or his production or something like that. And actually, he's producing Zerglings. There's no Mutalisks being produced. Maybe only a couple Mutalisks being produced. But there's Zerglings popping out of these eggs. And GoRush is continuing to pour Zerglings into the base, though, saying, you know what? If you stop producing Zerglings for a moment, I am going to overrun you. You cannot produce Mutalisks or you will die. And he's probably going to die anyway very soon. Here's the next round of reinforcements coming in. And the Zergling versus Zergling count has been evened up. But it looks like GoRush still has a couple more. The reinforcements coming in, it's just so close. It's like a matter of 1 or 2 Zerglings difference back and forth. And GoRush once again wins the Zergling battle by just a couple lings, and that's going to enable them to kill a couple more drones off, even camping Scourge above the eggs, so that if a Mutalisk hatches, it will immediately die. And there's the GG. Jeju goes down. GoRush is going to win that game. And you know what? I haven't seen it in like forever. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what he was doing there is, I think there's a moment where if you hit a Mutalisk with a Scourge right as it's hatching, you can actually kill it with one Scourge because it doesn't like have its full hit points yet upon it's the first moment of spawning or something like that. So I think with the Scourge camping those eggs, I think there was no way for him to ever get any Mutalisks out to deal with that. So, and his economy was just wrecked. He basically killed 1 drone, maybe 2 of GoRush's, and Jeju had already started off with less drones and then had lost a few as well, and so he knew there was no coming back from that. Even if he could have fought off those Zerglings, it was just a constant wave after wave of Zerglings, and he knew Mutalisks were coming out as well because he had his Overlords rallied to GoRush's base for some reason, and so he had 2 free Overlords waiting on top of the Spire, so he knew the Spire was completed in his enemy's base. But anyway, an intense ZVZ, intense old school ZVZ, and so that means GoRush is going to go to a 1-1 position in this group, and Jeju is going to go down 0-2. Virtually impossible for him to win. We can actually just look at these games again. So we've got Uv versus Jeju. Let's see. We've got Uv versus Jeju is going to be the next game, and Uv is 1-1 and Jeju is 0-2. So let's say Jeju wins that, then it's 1-2, 1-2, and then Sync would have to beat GoRush, and then we would have a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 tie. I should have just said a 3-way tie with 3 people having a 1-2 record. But it had to be those exact circumstances where Jeju would have to beat Uv and Sync would have to beat GoRush in order for there to be those tiebreakers. In order for Jeju to advance, that's all I'm talking about. There still could be tiebreakers in another combination if multiple people get 2-1 records or something along those lines. So Jeju is pretty much out of this because not only does he have to win some tiebreakers, he has to beat Uv in the next game in order to survive. And that, my friends, is not very likely at all. So, anyways, should be an exciting game, though. Jeju's going to be fighting for his life. And so let's go ahead and move on to game number 5 and see if Uv can actually get himself into a winning position. Because remember, Uv is one of the favorites in this tournament. And if he loses the next game, he is probably going to lose out on this group as well. Or could lose out on the group as well. So A lot on the line on every game in this group. It's been actually really intense, even though we've only gone for these 4 games so far. So let's move on to game number 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.